All right. Well, I almost said happy Tuesday. Happy Wednesday, everyone. We're coming up on the last day of the month, and I am going to go into some announcements, and I also want you guys to chime in. I know Michelle, Colville, I mean, many of you are very good at announcements. Jeanette, Michelle, Deb. So I'm going to ask you guys to chime in. Um, I do want to say, guys, that um, I am doing an opportunity event tonight specifically for one of our members that is launching her business. However, if you do have somebody tonight that would like to see an opportunity event, sit in, it is at the beginning, it will be geared toward her. But it's just I'm doing an opportunity event. So I just want to open it up because we are coming to the end of the month, and I want to make sure that anybody that is a little on the fence, maybe they're uncertain of how to really explain the special, I'm going to be obviously doing that there. So just know that. And if you do have a guest, will you personally reach out to me in the DMs or my cell, whichever you've got, so that I know if you would be coming. Okay. All right. So there's that. Now I want to remind everybody that the special. So I'm just going to repeat it. I know you guys probably know it, but I just want to make sure it's super clear. So for the Elite Turbo Business Builder, it's 588. Immediately 490 points go into your loyalty savings account. Okay. And they're getting both May and June free. So they're saving $240 um, in membership dues. Okay. So if you have somebody that's mentioning maybe that they were going to get on at the beginning of May or something, be sure that you are really, you know, forthright because shoot, that's a heck of a lot of savings at the end of the day, and you just don't want somebody to get on board and be like, how come I didn't know? So again, I've got a handful of you that have been really, really good about using third-party validation, which is leveraging me in chats. And I think there's still some people, if you need some third-party validation, right? Make sure that you add us to a chat in Messenger, me, Megan, both of us, it doesn't matter. Um, and will you identify your chat so you can change the name of a chat using that fire emoji so that we know, okay? We know that it's third party, okay? If anybody is wondering, like I'm a little confused on really what the chat is, I want to be sure that you know there is a document under training in the boards that talks about how to leverage a chat. Okay. You can add multiple people to a chat. The main thing that's important when it comes to a chat is that you introduce the person, you tell a little bit about the person. So, in other words, if I'm in a chat, I would want to know that, hey, this is Jeanette. She's a mom of, five. I'm just kidding, Jeanette. She works part-time. What's really attracted her, Joan, to the business is, the extra money. She'd like to make 500 extra bucks. And then Jeanette, I want to introduce you to Joan. Joan is one of my business partners. She's been in the industry multiple years and has built several multi-million dollar organizations, and she'll tell you a little bit more about why she joined MWR Life. That's it. And then there you go. I'm not there to convince, and I'm not there to close someone. What I'm there for is to support you along the journey of helping educate that person, as well as showing that person that we're a team here, and that's part of being part of a community, is helping each other, right? So not only does that new rep see that, right? The new ambassador, they're like, oh, wow, I don't have to know everything, right? And but it's also good for, I remember when I started doing the ATM system back about, I don't know, it's been almost 5 years now, I guess, but when I started using that system, I learned so much from the different people that put me in chats, because I would go listen to what they said. And I was like, ooh, that's a really good idea of how to explain that. Or, ooh, I loved Michelle's word choices around that. Or, wow, Karen's very detailed in that area. I'm going to take from that, right? So just remember, those three-way chats are hugely um, a place where we can learn and grow our own skill set, okay? Just from listening to others. All right. Couple other things. I know there's been, I want to just make mention of this. I'm trying to really be sure, guys, that our chats aren't overflowing with chit chat or, unnecessary language. We're doing better, but we're not quite there. I don't want anybody here to ever be nervous to answer a question or write in a chat if you know the answer, okay? Because I don't hang out in the DMs 24/7, and I wouldn't expect you to. But if you're there and you see it and you feel confident to answer, feel free to answer. If you don't, that's fine too. I just want to make mention that what the chats really are for, guys. Okay. What the chats are really for is they're a place to pass information. They're a place for high level communication. Okay. The chats are not meant to go back and forth with small talk, or like if Michelle, let's pretend Michelle R and I were having a conversation about something. Let's say Michelle, this is just a made up example. Let's say Michelle says, hey, I want clarification on the special. Okay, so then we give clarification on the special. That's a really good example in the chats, right? But then let's say that I take it down to, oh, what are you and Brittany doing today? That's her daughter. Where are you going to lunch? Oh, fun, blah, blah, blah. Like, no, okay? And I'm not trying to be like, but I just have to say that, we have to remember to be respectful, because there's many people in these chats and many people leave because of that kind of stuff. So let's just keep it as high bridge. And then if you want to talk to somebody, you can take it into the DMs. Okay. Um, and then the last thing I want to say is, and this is a hard one for me, you guys, but I did drop in our chat. So you don't have to scroll up forever to find links or anything like that. Many of you know, and if you don't know, I'm going to let you know right now. You can click on the word memory makers in the DMs, and it will bring you to the kind of what I would call like the back office of a chat. You can look under photos, links. Okay, there's like a little line that says that. So click around back there, and you'll be able to see without having to scroll up and down the chats what were pictures that were dropped, what were links that were dropped. Does that make sense? So, if there was a call that was dropped 2 days ago and you're like, wait, when was it? Was it this Friday? You're going to be able to see that. Okay. Um, Here's my last thing. if you guys get on a call from Jen Perga, I'm going to just say this a few times, I'm sure, but it's not going to change. Okay. Our calendar, we put the Monday night call of hers on there. I've been doing a decent job, not great, but a decent job of taking what gets posted during the day and posting it in ours because there are some, I believe, valuable calls that you should have the opportunity to be on if you so choose. Okay. If they are not Megan and my calls, please don't ask for the recording in the Memory Makers chat because I don't have access to that. Neither does Megan. And what I did do to really support everybody is I dropped in the chat the link to Jen Perga's chats. Did everybody get that? Okay, very good. So get into the chats and then you'll be able to have firsthand communication there. Um, the other thing I want to say is that Jen Perga's recordings are typically put up in her Facebook group, or there are some recordings that are housed in school. So that's all I know. But again, I've had a couple people get a little bit like, where is that recording? And I can't, I don't have that in me. I'm not going to go, what? Somebody's calling. Okay, that's all right. I'm not going to go, I can't go track that down, is what I'm trying to say. Okay. There's no time for that, and I don't have access to it. All right. Any other questions around training, chats, any suggestions from any of you before we move on?
Well, I think to explain.
Wait, Jean, I don't know if it's me. Maybe it is. Hang on, guys. No, let me get
I
on
didn't
just a
catch it
second.
either.
You hear me now?
Okay, make sure I'm on the right internet here. Go ahead, Jean. Let's try it again.
Okay, you hear me? Yeah. Okay, now I was just saying that what you just explained was important to remind, you
Yeah,
know?
yeah, for sure. And, again, you guys, all this kind of stuff, no one's in trouble or it's not, I don't want anyone to think like that. It's just standard operating procedures to be respectful of all of us. That's all.
Yeah.
And a couple of you have reached out to me, and I want you to know, I appreciate it. I always appreciate the feedback. Okay. All right. So guys, let's start with any other announcements that there are some things Michelle, Jeanette, Deb, anybody got anything that's important that, like I said, I need your guys' help a little bit around
Um,
announcement.
yeah, if anybody missed it that's going to attend the Phoenix Boot Camp, we do have a brand new separate chat to figure out our housing and cars and all that stuff. So
Right.
please
Deb, can you drop the
reach
link?
out.
Could
Yeah,
you
let
drop?
me pull that up. Yep.
Okay. All right, awesome. Yeah, so even if you're considering, get in the chat. That way you can be part of what's going on in there. Um, anyone else announcement wise?
I would just say, let's remind everybody of the 2:30 call, well, 2:30
Yeah,
Eastern call today for the recap and go over all the new
okay,
stuff.
yeah. So that's a recap on the Turkey trip. If you want to get on that from the corporate, from the top down, you certainly can. Thanks, Karen. Um, okay. Anyone else?
The only thing I've been working on is, and I talked to Megan today too. We're trying to find an Airbnb that's close by both locations. I've also looked into renting like a van to split that cost because when I was adding up how much we spent on back and forths in Dallas, it was $200 between all the Ubers. And there's 30 minutes between the retreat center and the main hotel, because I think they said at some point in time we'll be at that main hotel that the experience is at.
Yeah,
And
that's a
so
little way. Yeah. Okay, Michelle, good. And you're going to put all that info in that chat, right? Or you're
yeah,
keeping.
so in that Arizona chat right now, we're asking people to put their flight times in.
Okay.
And I found a couple different Airbnbs. Some I'm trying to look for ones that are like 5 rooms. There is one that I saw that's 5 rooms, but one room would have 2 beds if somebody is wanting to, wants their own bed but doesn't mind sharing a room. That could bring the cost down also. So we just need to know how many people, what they want to do. Most people want their own room, and I'm trying to find something that will work. Try to save everybody some money.
Awesome. Okay. All right, you guys. Okay, well, let's kick off. I'm going to just draw a card. Let's get some good juju going. All right. I also, let's see here, want to hear from a few of you, some wins. Let's see. So be thinking of your wins, and here is our card. Whoops. Jeez. Sorry. All right, you guys ready? Oh, well, this is a great card. Gratitude is the best way to elevate my well-being. All right, guys, gratitude is the gift to myself. Appreciation is when I express that gift to others. When I choose to be grateful for what I have, I get more. I will remind myself that gratitude will create positive energy in my life, and I will remember that people are drawn to people who make them feel appreciated and special. Flip the switch from thinking about maybe what's not going right in my life to living in a state of gratitude. Be a gratitude and appreciation magnet. Now, guys, some of you here are in morning motivation, but we all need tools to get us back onto a path that I believe is like an opened path of abundance, right? When we are in fear-based states, we're afraid to reach out, we're afraid of what people think, we're afraid of who knows what it could be, our world gets really, really small. And so one of the tools that you can use is literally gratitude. And that's something that I also use a lot. Many of you know I walk anywhere from 5 to 10 miles a day, and I have to have it. It's like it's my medicine. But when I'm out there walking, sometimes my mind will slip into stinking thinking. Has anybody ever been there? Drop a 1 in the comments if you've been like, you know what? Nah. And I want to give you guys a few hints because it's so important when you begin your business day, well, any part of your day really, that you're in a good state in order to draw more of that vibration to you, right? That energy to you. So, I might be out. Yeah, I know we've all been there, right? I might be out there and maybe my mind is wandering, right? To something that doesn't serve me. Maybe I'm just going to make up an example, but maybe I'm like, geez, you know what? I wish the calendar would have been right. Gosh, that call was canceled and I start going down the rabbit hole. You guys relate? Shake your head yes if you relate to what I'm talking about. And the thing is that won't serve me to be in that state and then go start making a few reach out calls or follow ups in my DMs, will it? Because then I'm already in a lower place of frequency, right? So, what can I do immediately to recognize, like, okay, my mind's going there? And we have to keep in mind that we have control of our mind. Most people just aren't aware that they really do. So we can stop that thought by simply replacing it with something else. And that's where you can replace it with gratitude. So you start small when it comes to that. Like, I don't go like, oh, you know what, I'm so miffed off about that and blah blah blah. Then I go, oh, you know what, it's a beautiful day. That isn't what I do. I don't feel that right away. But what I do is I go, Joan, I said to myself, right? You're going down a rabbit hole that you don't want to go any further down. It's not going to serve you. Acknowledge your feelings. Why am I feeling this way? I'm a little frustrated. And then I start going like this. Am I hungry? Am I angry? Am I lonely? Or am I tired? Anyone know that? That stands for HALT. HALT. That means stop. Stop the thinking. Stop the action. Knock it off, right? And then I kind of go like yesterday, this happened to me about 4 o'clock. And I was like, you know what? I'm tired and I know better. So either take a few more loops, meaning, right? I get back out there and walk, or go lay down a minute, relax your brain. Okay, so I've identified it. I now know I have a few tools, but then I go, you know what? I'm really thankful that I'm aware. You know what? I'm really thankful that I have a choice. You know what? I think I'm going to actually reach out to a few other people to get out of myself. You know what? I'm really appreciative, Karen, that you are always on the calls and that you're so detailed about what's happening. You really help our group in the greater good. Jeanette, it's been so cool that you've been on the onboarding, and I've had so many people tell me what a great job you did. See how I'm expressing my gratitude, my appreciation? But notice I went from awareness to being, grateful, just a little bit grateful, to now I think I'll get out of my head totally and focus on some other people. And now let's say I made 3 or 4 reach out calls to my own team, to people I care about, whatever it is. Maybe I called someone, I did this yesterday, I called someone and I prayed with them real quick. So what is it? What gets you out of that funk? Because then guess what? Within 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, a half hour, whatever it is, now I'm ready to make my calls because I feel good again. Does that make sense? So you see how it's a gradual scale? And I want everyone to hear this. There is in no way, shape, or form that I'm telling you that the feelings that you feel are not valid. That they are valid because they're yours. They're not right or wrong. It's just you have to ask yourself, is that going to serve me for the long term? Right? And then acknowledge the feeling because it is okay to feel that way. And there's a reason, most likely, why you do. And then you can move out of it without stuffing it. Does that make sense? Because what we don't want is for you to go, oh my gosh, I should not feel that way. Joan tells me I need to be in a state of gratitude. I should not feel that way. No, that's not true either. Right? Okay. Anybody got any comments, questions on that? And then I would love to hear some wins. Well, everyone all holler at once your wins.
Joan, I want to share something, a
Yeah,
win.
please.
I
Yes.
had a really good friend that I approached when we first started, and I'll probably just gooped it up, and I was real transparent with him. And I said, look, you have no idea what you're saying no to. And to be honest, I did not do it well. whether I did or I didn't. So he is, we've been back in conversations. He actually called me. He's going to get on the opportunity call tonight. He had been traveling. So we'll just see. I asked for a do-over and he gave it to me. So that's my win.
Wow. Let's give it up for Michelle. You know what, guys? Michelle, I love that you shared that with me. And you know what else I love? I love that she didn't give up, even though she might have thought that the way she left it wasn't as favorable as it could have been. You guys, here's a way. And obviously, Michelle found the way to revisit. But remember, there's a real simple way to revisit anybody. It's these words. So write them down if you have a pen and paper. Hey, Michelle, I just got to thinking. Because that's what happened. You just got to thinking. And then what is it? I just got to thinking that we haven't, connected for a couple weeks, and I know couple months, couple years, whatever it is, right? And I wanted to give you a little update, and I wanted to check in and see how you're doing, right? Always find out how people are doing first. That could always be an interaction when you revisit. All right, I love it. Okay, who else has a win?
Hey, Joan, I have something very
Hey,
similar. Back when I started, I have a couple of really good friends that I literally just vomited all over. I did, because you do when you're excited, right? And
yeah.
it was overwhelming, and I shared too much information and just overloaded them. Anyway, I did follow up with her, and I'm like, hey, this could not be more perfect for you. I know I gave you way too much information. And she goes, yeah, and it was a really busy time for me. And so, I'm going to relook at it. So
Oh,
same kind of thing as Michelle, but I think we all do that. You get overexcited and you're like, oh my gosh, this is the best thing I, blah, blah, blah.
well, and here's the thing. I want you guys to know that in my very first business, I literally can track this back. Like the first 90 days, that was all I was sharing was my excitement. Now just hear me on this. My excitement, oh my gosh, I got these free products. Wow, I started making money right away, and you could too. Right? But here's what I want you to know. Many of those people that I initially recruited on my excitement went by the wayside. Who knows the answer? Why do you think it went by the wayside? I recruited them on my excitement. So they said yes, but why did I not retain them? Many of them. Some I did. Who knows? It's real easy.
Maybe you didn't point them to the tools.
Okay, could have been tools, but there's another one. But you're right, Bonnie. If you don't get people in action, if they don't know where the tools are, yep, what else?
You didn't know what their why was?
There you go. I didn't know what was important to them, right? So think about this. If I don't know what you want from your business, then how can I help you get what you want if I don't know? Just one moment, ladies, over to the water table immediately, immediately, because I can't hear my team. Adios over that way. Thank you. All right. So where was I here? Oh yeah. So guys, just remember part of my job, part of your job when you're talking to somebody is understanding what they want. And it starts by you being curious instead of, and don't take this wrong, Bonnie, because I had the same issue, like big time. Like literally, I must have recruited 15 people like that. Just, you know? But it inadvertently, I didn't realize that it was kind of all about me, all my excitement without knowing how to package it with here's my excitement and here's what it could do for you. Does that make sense? Or here's my excitement. How does that sound to you? Do you share any of that kind of same feeling or whatever? And if you were to do this, a business like this, what would excite you? Do you see? When we remember to put our skills to work, to focus on our prospect, on our new team member, we win. Because remember, there is nobody that argues with their own information. Do you know what I mean? You know, like if Michelle tells me, yeah, I want to make $500 month one, first 30 days. And then we're in week 2 and, you know, maybe I'm trying to maybe help her get her first sale or third sale or whatever. And then I say something, she's like, oh, I don't know, maybe she's about ready to give up. That could be a scenario. If I don't know what she wants, how could I support her to stay involved? Hey, I know that you really want that $500 because you and your man are going on date nights or whatever it is. Do you see what I mean? We need to understand what people want so that we can support them to a successful business. And Bonnie, you're also correct, because if I don't show someone how to get started by using the tools, they'll be gone too, right? Because what does a confused mind do? Nothing. It just stops, just freeze. No. Okay. All right. Anyone else with the win before we go on? Okay. All right, guys. Well, what I want to talk a little bit about today is the sales flow. Okay. I think that many people here have got the sales flow down pretty good, but there are still little parts of the flow that get you stuck, where you might lose momentum, where you inadvertently, I'm basically saying accidentally without understanding, that you gave your power away. Who knows those 3 words that we really want to keep away from, besides Deb K, that we really want to keep away from, that turns your power over and you lose momentum? Anybody know?
Let me know. Let me know.
Let me know, right? There you go. Kim, you're right. Michelle's right. Good. I'm glad you guys watch my lives. Okay. Let me know. Those are the worst words. Now, if I'm really good, let's pretend Jeanette and I are best friends. Just one second. Sophia, please quit spraying your sister. Okay. Thank you. Okay. So if I use that word, let me know, and it's not like my best friend Jeanette, or my sister-in-law or someone who I'm already in relationship with, it doesn't matter then, because you're in a relationship that is going back and forth. But when it's a prospect, I want you guys to remember this regardless of any part of your process. Prospecting is leadership. It's leading the prospect through the journey. And it's a journey, right? So I don't want to give away my leadership. I don't want to give away the lead, because not because I'm trying to control the narrative. It's not that. It's because it's my job to take the prospects through the journey. It's what's best for them, and it's what's best for me, right? Because when you give away your power and you stop or stall the momentum, wouldn't it be true that, number one, your brain doesn't turn off because you don't know where that person is, right? Can you help her? There's that. And then the second thing that happens is you can lose your prospect totally. The ghosting can occur. So it's going to be less likely to occur if you've got an action after every interaction. In other words, you know where you're going or what the next steps are. Okay. But also the prospect, if you turn it over to them, again, we have to remember they're not invested. They don't understand about keeping the pace or momentum or anything. Okay. And what I have found is when I share with somebody and put almost like what I would call an expectation or an option, people choose what I offer, right? It's kind of like if you went to go book a teeth cleaning at your dentist. If they told you, you just let us know when you can come back for your cleaning, for your 6-month checkup. If that's what they told you, how many of you for sure would be right at 6 months? You booked with them. You'd forget, most likely. Some might not, but the majority would, right? Because it's not it's not maybe on your very tip top priority list. Okay, the second thing I want you to remember is if that's the way that the dentist office did business, they would probably not ever have a full calendar, right? Because people just believe they could get in any old time. If you tell people, hey, in other words, you're coming out from your cleaning, and this is typically what happens. You stop at the desk on your way out, and what do they do? What do they do? Who knows? They book you for your right, Jeanette. They book you for your next cleaning, right? Right then and there. So don't leave an interaction without the next steps of what you're doing or when you're talking to that person. Does that make sense? Otherwise, you're basically putting them out to pasture. You just have to know that. Okay? So a lot of the process and energy that you're giving away is not because you're doing it on purpose, it's because maybe you haven't developed that skill. And so I want to make sure that as we talk through this process that you guys know, here's the skill, and then here's how long it should be in between and so forth. Is that good? You guys like that? Okay. So before we dig into that, what I want you to do right now is just a second here. I want you to be thinking right now about what step of the process is holding you up, and be prepared to share in just a second. All right. What part of the process are some of you getting stuck in? Who wants to share? Would it be going from let's just say it's a curiosity post? Do you get stuck from the post to the DMs? Do you get stuck at some point in the process in the DMs? Where do you stall? This is really important. And it's not embarrassing. If some of you have 2 areas you stall, don't worry about it. Let's just handle it, right?
Joan, I am getting stuck. It's getting kind of frustrating. Oh, sorry, let me take myself off video. I had to move away for a second. After I send like the video,
Okay.
And, people, they'll respond to either a post or a conversation that we've had, something like that. And I'm like, fantastic. I follow the flow, I send them the video, and then nothing.
Nothing. Okay. All right. So after the video or after you've sent the video, okay? You guys, I'm taking notes because this is going to help me with the last 15 minutes to get you guys right in order. Okay, what else? Where else are you guys getting stalled? And it may not be you, it might be some of your team members. Jeanette.
Yes. For me, I'm getting stalled at the connection part after because I've sent the video. They said, hey, I'll get back to you and I'll try to set up a date. And then it's ghost space.
Okay.
They'll say, I'll let you know when sometime next week, and trying to circle back with them. And I'm ghosted after circling back. And it's kind of crazy.
I got it. And I know exactly what part you're talking about. Okay, who else? So far, Bonnie and Jeanette, you guys these are like the number one areas where most people are getting caught up. Okay, Cammie, no response at what stage?
After sending the video and giving them a little information, and then we invite them to do a Zoom, then there's a response.
Okay. All right. I think that you guys are all right in this is almost the exact same thing. Okay. Same as Jeanette. Okay, Michelle. All right. Okay, good. This gives me enough information. Let's go for it. Okay. So first things first. Mila, put the damn hose down. That's it. Last time. Sorry. Okay. So don't you guys love this when you work from home? Like you parent at the same time that you do a training for your team? Like really? Oh my God. Okay. So let's start. Curiosity post or direct reach out. Okay. Right? So those are the ways that we're typically generating interest. Now, I know some of you guys might meet people at church, at the gym, whatever. I'm going to consider that a direct reach out because to me, you're either doing it online or you're doing a direct message or a direct reach out in person, right? Okay, so that really is step one. Now I'm going to go back because I think the majority of people really need the information around the post. Okay, so I'm going to go back. When you go from the post to getting anybody that's had a reaction, okay, make sure you guys hear me on this. Let's say you have 10 loves, hearts, cares, whatever. A lot of people just ignore those because they didn't put the word freedom. Don't ignore those. Okay, if they're your team members, ignore them. No offense, right? But if it's anybody else that is not in your business, you want to make sure that you thank them. Thank you for the love on my stories. Thank you for the love on my post. Are you being supportive or would you like a little bit of information? That's it. Every single one of them. Change the name, put an emoji, send her off. Put it on your list. All right. Comments. They commented freedom. Here's what I want everybody to remember. They're giving you permission to talk to them and give them information. So those of you that are still getting nervous, you have to remember that it's like I'm a child in a classroom. Just think of it like this. And I'm going, teacher, I need your help. That's what they're doing. Hey, I want information. So there's none of this. I don't want to be pushy. I don't want to bug them. No, that's made up in your mind. They're asking you for info. All right. So I write in the comments, if I already recognize it's a public post and I'm not friends, I say, accept my friend. I'll see you in the DM or, see you in the DMs. Meet you in the DMs. I don't write the same thing to every person, but the message is the same. Okay? So now I've just boosted my friends list. I've also boosted the algorithm because the more that you can comment in that post, it pushes the post back up to the news feed. Okay? Okay, next step. Now I'm in the DMs. This is where the magic happens. This is where now I'm one-on-one. This is where many people make a lot of what I would call I don't want to say mistakes, but they're doing a lot more than they need to do by giving too much information. So one of the things that we got to make sure of is when you get to the DMs, what are you going to say? Okay, I like to thank somebody. Thanks for your interest, Michelle, in travel or whatever it is. Okay, girls, out over that way. Gigi's on the phone. Go that way. All right. Thank you for your interest. Now, what is my job? What do I want to know? Who can tell me? What do I want to know?
So you want to
what
get
co-
to know them a little
yeah.
more too.
There you go. Before we go anything into travel, can we ask them a question about them? And I like to say something like, thank you for your interest in the travel. But before we go there, tell me a little bit about you. Just something small. Or, well, yeah, that's just an easy way to say it. You can ask them anything about them. Okay. You could also say, next, what piqued your interest? What has you interested in learning more? See, what I want everybody to realize is it's in the questions that you ask that actually gives you the information and the confidence on where to go next. Because they'll tell you things like, oh, well, I really am interested. My husband and I love to travel and I'd like to make extra money. Doesn't that make me confident to send him a video? Yeah. Okay, now here's the clincher. This is what everybody wants their answers to. Okay, now let's say they say, my husband and I love to travel, and I think this is something that I could make extra money, or, I'm just interested in learning more. I want to check it out, whatever it is. They gave me a nod. So I say, Karen, I'm going to pop you over a short video. Now, you guys, there's all different videos running out there. I don't care which one you use. You use whichever one you feel comfortable with. I'm just telling you from my own experience. I'll use a 12-minute video that's in the boards. I know there's other ones out there. Great. There's a 9-minute one. There's all these others. Whatever you want. I'll use a shorter video for an A-type personality. I'm going to use the company video for somebody that really loves to have a lot of fun, that's been in network marketing before, because there's a comp plan there. There's a welcome from Yoni in there. But it's only 22 minutes as well. If someone's very interested, they'll watch it. It is the highest converting video. Okay, but now here's where this comes in. I'm going to pop you over a video. Now, all of you guys that are getting the ghosting or dropping or whatever, this is what you're probably not saying that I say that will change your conversions at this point. I say, Bonnie. No, I don't say it like this. Bonnie. I don't say it like that. I say, hey, Bonnie. This is how I would say it. And I'm doing voice messages now, and I try to do 30-minute increments, but I could be a little long-winded. So watch that. But I'd be like, hey, Bonnie, I'm going to go ahead and pop a video over to you. It's going to give you all the information. I think you'll really appreciate learning a little bit more about it. Do you think you'd have time to watch it now or a little later this afternoon? what do you think that person's going to do?
Ghost you. I'm just kidding.
Yeah,
They're gonna give you an answer.
they are. But because I'm doing it all in one fell swoop when I have their attention, I have not given them the video. Do you guys see where I'm going? I do not give them the video until they give me a time. Or they say I can watch it this afternoon. I look at my thing and I go, how's I don't know, what are you thinking? Maybe 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock Pacific? I think 4. Great. Let's reconvene at 4:30 so that I can get to know more about you and answer any questions that you have. You guys hear me on that? So it's very specific. What is it why am I saying it's very specific? Because notice the first part. I want to learn more about you, what's important to you, and then I'd love to answer any questions that you have. See, when someone realizes that I'm seeking to be interested in them, this goes for all of us, don't you think they're going to be more apt to get on a call with you or a Zoom or whatever it is versus, yeah, well, you know what? We'll have a chance to answer questions about the video and then you can determine if it's right for you. Okay, that's not horrible, but it's not as good as first putting them as the priority. I want to get to know you, Jean, and what's most important to you. Of course, we're going to answer questions and I can't wait to see what you thought about the video. Okay, and then I offer them choices. I got you at 4, I got you at 4:30. Okay, when you have what I call a light commitment from someone on the time, your brain stops thinking about it because you've now got a committed time. You already know you're going back to meet them at 4:30. Okay, they actually take action because there's a time. Oh gosh, I got to watch this because I'm talking to her. Or maybe they're not thinking of it that way. They're just thinking like this is how she does business. And that's what I want you guys to really understand. I've had people tell me, "Oh, they don't like to get on a phone call. They don't want to do a Zoom." That is again, that is because you have not set it up the right way. If I am interested in somebody and they truly are interested in learning about the business, if they don't want to get on a call with me, I don't want them on my team. Just being honest. If I can't have a conversation with somebody about what's important to them because they don't want to do a phone call or a Zoom, bye-bye. I'm not talking to them. I just don't. That's just me. Because what does that tell me about how they're going to work with their people? How many people do you think build a successful organization without talking to people? None. So really, what am I just wanting to recruit somebody that's not even going to talk to people? That isn't in their best interest. And it's definitely not in your best interest. Okay? So notice that I haven't given them the video until they commit that they're going to watch it and we're going to meet up at a time. I mean, I don't say, "Are you going to watch it?" I don't go I have seen scripts that say, "Will you guarantee me you're going to watch the video before we get on the call?" I don't go to that level. But I do say, "Okay, great. If you're going to watch, some people tell me they're going to watch it right now. Oh, I have time right now." In fact, most people do tell me that. So then I look at my clock and I go to the very next time, the very best available time. Let's say I have a team call and someone told me at 8:30 my time they were going to watch the video. In other words, they'd be done by 9. I can't talk to them at 9. So when's the next best time? Maybe it's 10, maybe it's 10:30. Do you see where I'm going with that? Okay. All right, Jean, question.
Okay. there is two. I just want you to explain to me which I'm a bit confused because if I have a conversation, just a message text with you, and instead of sending you a video, if I would ask you to come on a Zoom with me, then I will explain everything.
Mhm.
That I'm a little bit confused of
Okay.
which method to use better than the other,
Yeah.
and
So
in which occasion,
yeah, so this is a good question. So let me just recap it to make sure I'm understanding. So what Jean is saying is it okay or should I, or I'm a little confused because you're, Joan, saying watch the video, then we'll get on a Zoom. But what if we got on a Zoom and then I can explain everything?
Exactly.
So let me explain here what my philosophy is on that. If I know you really well and you've been in network marketing, like I'll give an example. Let's say that I start a new company tomorrow. I know all of you really well. I'd probably get on a phone call with you before I sent you a video because I'm already in relationship. Do you see what I mean? I'd want to be like, hey, Karen, I just started with this, brand new company, and I wanted to um, contact you first before I go out and post all over social media. I've loved having you on my team in the past, whatever. I'm just giving an example. So if I know someone and they've been in network marketing, then I may get on the phone first. But if this is just more of what I would call somebody that responded in a post, or it's more of what I would call a colder lead, I want to make sure they're invested enough for me to give them my time. They've got to do their part, which is watch the video, because the video does the heavy lifting. Okay. Now, in Jean's question, remember, like, okay, I'm going to take it back to Karen. I would say to Karen, hey, here's what I'm up to, and I would also find out if I haven't talked, I would have a conversation with her if I haven't talked to her in a while, tell me about what's going on with the grandkids, whatever it is. But my point is, then I would say to her, okay, Karen, I'm glad you've got some interest. Now I'm going to get you the video, and then let's set a time after that. But that's the difference between the two. So you have to kind of judge that for yourself. But I would caution you to do it one way or another. Either way is the right way, but do you see why I do it one way and the other way? Depending on the person's background experience. But you don't, if I had 6 or 7 leads, I don't want to get on the phone first. I want to make sure they're somewhat interested or invested. Does that make sense? So I want them to watch the video. Does that answer the question? Yeah. Okay, good. All right. So now let's go because we've got we're right at the hour, but we're getting close. Okay. So now when I get on the phone, I pull up the Ultimate Recruiting Foursquare. Okay. And that is in the training so that I've got a guide about where I'm going to go. So what do? I recap, even if I already know all about them. I start the call by, saying, gosh, it's been really great, to meet you this morning in the DMs. And, you know, before we go into the video and what you thought about it, now let's talk a little bit more about, the idea of making 500 extra dollars and what you really want to do with the money. And, if you were to do a business like this. So I just go right back to that connecting. Who knows why I want to go there? We're only going to run a few minutes over. We're really close. Who knows why? Jeanette.
It connects them to their why and what's important to them.
There you go. It connects them to their why and what's important to them. And is that a heightened state of emotion? Or is that a logical state, which is down in here? It's up here. It's their own excitement. It's all about them. It's going to be a heightened state. It's going to be connected to their heart. heightened emotion. We want that. If I just start off the call by going, oh, what questions do you have? Not the worst thing ever, but definitely you got nowhere to go now. See what I mean? Because now you're into what we really call objections. And you don't maybe know why they want to do this business. So you got to go back to the connecting. Okay. After you connect, then I say, let's talk about the video and what spoke most to you about the video. You know, and I might share a little something about, hey, let me share with you how easy it is to get started. Of course, if you were to do this, let me just show you how someone gets started. See, possibility. Then I go into next quadrant. Let's talk about what questions you have. Okay, and then I use that 3-step process. Validate, ask more questions, recap, move forward, move on. At the end of the questions, guess what I say? Any more questions? What else can I answer? Anything else come to mind? No, I think I'm good. Great. Kim, you tell me, where do you want to go from here? That is the flow. And I do not deviate from that flow. Okay, now some of you guys are already thinking, I can't do it that way. I'm not going to do it the way Joan does it. That feels blah, blah, blah. Then keep doing what you're doing. And if you're not getting the results, then you'll know why. But don't be stubborn about this. I did recruit 6 people in the month of March by doing this system, right? So I just want you guys to know that many of your stalls are little teeny tweaks. Okay, so Bonnie, was that helpful? Did that answer your question?
Yes, thank you very, very
Okay.
much.
Okay, now here's what I want to share with you guys. Even when I have an appointment, you guys should be asking me, Joan, do you ever get ghosted even when you have an appointment? Does anybody ever ignore you or forget about you? Sometimes, but it's a lot more rare. Okay? It's a lot more rare because, see, I'm treating this business like a business. I'm not treating this casually like it doesn't matter, right? Now, I don't want you to think I am pretty casual. I don't talk in a formal way to people. Let's have a chat. I don't go, let's set an appointment so you can sign the contract. Like, I don't use words like that. But I'm very to the point of what I'm doing next. And I never leave an interaction without a next step. Okay? And every time that you have an interaction with someone, what are you doing? Strengthening the connection. Anytime you have an interaction, which is always why every single prospect, if you get them past, in my opinion, if they like the video, the very next thing I would do is put them in a 3-way chat just to introduce them to the team. And you can add each other. Doesn't have to be just Joan or Megan or whom, it can be anybody. Let's say you knew somebody in, Washington, you add Jeanette. Oh my God, she lives in Cedro Woolley. You live in Bellevue. It's not that far away, whatever. I wanted to add you too. I wanted you to meet another team member and she could share a little bit around her story and why she joined MWR and what it's done. So remember that all those little steps, what are they doing? It's strengthening your connection. So it's multi-purpose. All right. Okay, you guys, here is the homework. Are you ready? I want you to write out your sales flow. And I'm going to give you a little tip. Let's share my screen. Let's go up here to boards. because what I just shared with you from my right here from my head is also in our boards under team training and resources under daily DMO sales flow. All right. Or it kind of used to be, I guess. Let's see. Well, this still works. This is pretty much the same. But hang on a minute here. Let me make sure. I thought there was maybe it got taken out. Just a minute. Here's this one here. The Ultimate Recruiting, not yet. Foursquare. Let me see here. Might be under onboarding. Yep. This needs to get moved. But here we go here. Onboarding. Okay, right here. Oh, I guess we have this sales flow. I'm going to actually, yeah. Well, anyway, there should be another one in here, but I guess it got moved. So we'll have to figure that out. But the bottom line, guys, is you want to write out your sales flow, what I just went through with you. You can use that DMO as a guide, but the reason why I want you to write it out, who knows why? Why would I want you to write it out?
It's easier to find it back after. But
Okay.
I was at the same time, John, I was thinking that I don't know if I should share this, but it happened to me that in business to be so much overwhelmed that I had an appointment, let's say at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and I completely forgot. So I believe that we have to be careful in network marketing also, because we have there's so many things that comes up that we have to follow. We have to follow our calendar and these things that if we don't watch it, it's easy to forget that we have certain appointment or with people. So
Yeah. It's
yeah.
part of, well, there's some organization that we've got. There's all kinds of things. But guys, by writing it out, what you're doing is you're also reinforcing your own
Yeah.
steps that you need to take. And I also like to look at areas where I need to get stronger. And if I have it written, then I can practice it as I do my reach outs, if that makes
Oh,
sense.
that's fantastic.
Okay, now I did just put down here, you guys, in the Zoom chat, so you can feel free to grab that. That really is the sales flow. I'll have to put that back in boards because, again, although I know that you can use different verbiage and there's a lot of places for that verbiage, but you'll notice right here that it really walks through what I just went through. Okay? Oops, I probably didn't share screen, but all right, you guys see that? So copy and paste that if you want for right now, and I'll make sure it gets added back to the boards. But you can use that as a guide. Okay. All right. Any questions before we wrap up? And I know we went over, sorry about the length, but I hope this was helpful. Did you guys find it helpful? Yeah? Okay, good. So, and Jeanette, I think that answered your question too, didn't it? With the let me know.
Yes, it did answer my question. Yeah, it's just something I have to perfect a little bit more.
Yeah. Yeah. And guess what? For all of us, right? I would not be able to tell you guys that worked if I was just making up a training. Or you know what I mean? If I was just writing a training with no experience behind me, but I know it works because that's what I do every single time. And then Cami, I think she got off, but I think, yeah, Cami's saying after the video. So I think the biggest opportunity is understanding you don't give your asset, the asset is the video, until you get a confirmation of when you're going to talk to them next.
Yeah.
If you can do that, you're going to win. All right? So don't give your asset away. I want you to treat the video or your link or whatever you could be giving them as like gold, right? I'm not going to give away the gold until I've got some assurance that we're going to have a conversation. All right? Okay, guys. Have a beautiful day out there. And Michelle Colville, thank you for the work you're doing. I know there's many others of you guys that are, supporting and whatnot when it comes to that chat and Scottsdale. And I just want to say thank you. Okay? All right, beauties. Have a beautiful day.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Love you. Bye.
Love you. Bye-bye.